Have you ever just stared at a photograph and thought, wow, what makes this so incredible? Well, I can guarantee you it's probably not the camera. Today, we're going to dig into the philosophy from Henry Carroll's Read This If You Want to Take Great Photographs. And it's all about shifting how you see, not what you shoot with. Right here, this is the core idea of the entire book. It's this massive challenge to stop just pointing and shooting and to start telling a story. You're not just capturing a face, you're trying to capture the story behind the face. Okay, so what does that actually mean when you've got a camera in your hand? Well, it means changing your entire approach. And that's what we're going to unpack here. We're going to lay out that journey from just snapping photos to creating something that really, truly means something. Now, here's the interesting part. Carroll says this whole journey doesn't start with your camera at all. It doesn't start with a new lens or some fancy setting. It actually starts with looking inward and asking yourself a really simple but really powerful question. This right here, this is the bedrock. The book basically argues that your best tool isn't your gear, it's you. It's your life, your experiences, your point of view. I mean, think about it. If you don't even know your own story, how are you going to tell someone else's? Figuring out your why is what gives your pictures real emotional punch. And when you start to get that self-awareness, you develop what the book calls visual instinct. This is all about learning to trust your gut. Forget the rigid rules for a second. Does this shot feel right? Does it capture the vibe in the room? That's your intuition talking, and it's often way more important than perfect technique. All right, so once you're listening to your gut, you can start using your single most powerful tool for telling that story, the frame itself. And a huge part of that is layering, something photographers like the great Sam Abell mastered. See, a great photo has depth. It's not flat. When you start thinking about what's in the foreground, where your subject is, and what's happening in the background, you're not just taking a picture anymore. You're building a world. You're taking the viewer's eye on a little journey, all inside one frame. Now, let's talk about the gaze, where your subject is looking. A candid shot feels authentic, right? Like you've caught a real, unguarded moment. But the second they look directly at you, into the lens, everything changes. It's no longer just you observing them. It's a two-way street. It can feel like a collaboration or even a confrontation. Suddenly, they're part of the conversation. And this is so key. Every time you frame a shot, you're making a decision. Do you show the person in their messy studio to tell us they're an artist? Or do you do what someone like Richard Avedon did and stick them in front of a plain white backdrop so there's absolutely nothing to look at but them? Neither one is wrong, but they tell completely different stories. Okay, so we've talked about what's in the frame, but the whole mood, the whole feeling of the story is really shaped by light and color. And Carroll talks about these not as technical details, but as psychological weapons. I mean, just think about it. The light you use can make someone look kind or cruel, intense or peaceful. Harsh, direct light can feel like an accusation. Soft, gentle light can feel like an embrace. You're not just lighting a person, you're casting a judgment. You're setting the entire emotional tone of the picture. And every single style of lighting comes with its own emotional flavor. That direct on-camera flash, it feels aggressive, almost like an interrogation. But then you have something soft like Rembrandt lighting, named after the painter, and suddenly everything feels quiet, calm, and thoughtful. The light you choose is the emotion you choose. And the same exact thing goes for one of the most basic choices you can make, color or black and white. When you strip away color, you're simplifying. You're forcing the viewer to focus on shape, on texture, on the raw emotion of the scene. But color brings life. It creates connections. It can be joyful and warm, or it can be loud and shocking. So when you start putting all of this together, your own personal reasons for shooting, the way you frame the world, how you use light and color, you're not just taking good photos anymore. You're starting to build something way more important, your own unique photographic voice. And the book makes it so clear that there's no one right way to do this. I mean, look at two absolute legends of street photography. You have Henri Cartier-Bresson, who was like a quiet hunter. He would wait and wait for that one decisive moment to happen. And then you have Bruce Gilden, who's the exact opposite. He gets right up in people's faces with a flash, creating the moment himself through pure shock. Totally different styles, both absolutely iconic. So, who are you? Are you the quiet observer in the corner? Or are you the one who walks right up and starts a conversation? Your personality isn't something you should hide behind the camera. It's your single biggest strength. Letting that shine through is what will make your work yours, and not just a copy of someone else's. So, where does all this leave us? Well, the biggest takeaway from the book is that becoming a great photographer is not about buying better gear. It's an act of discovery. First, you discover yourself, and then you explore your connection to the world and the people in it. This really sums up the whole journey, doesn't it? It's that shift from obsessing over technical rules to trusting your visual instinct. It's about learning to see people, not just subjects. And it's using the frame, the light, and the color to tell a story from your unique point of view.
And really, that's the question the book leaves you with. Once you start by asking, who am I? You unlock everything else. You can finally create photos that don't just show what something looked like, but what it actually felt like. And that's how your camera stops being a machine and starts being a real tool for telling stories.